But I do want to tell you guys a quick story, if that's okay. This summer, last summer, not the upcoming one that hadn't happened yet. The one that I can't tell a story about because it's real. It has been experienced that summer. Went to work for her that summer. He wrote that? Oh my gosh, that's my favorite song.
He talks like Taylor.
So this last summer, I got a call from a record label in New York, and they said, we have some awesome news. And I was like, well, then I want to hear that right now, because I, in fact, love awesome news. And they said, I didn't say that. I wish I'd said that, but I didn't. I started kind of laughing like a girl. And, and I said, well, what is it? They said, well, there's a TV show that wants to have your songs played during the TV show. Yeah. And I'm going to be honest with you, a couple tears. Excitement, tears of excitement. Just a couple, just bubbled up, just started to trickle. Perfect for a music video. And then I said, well, that's awesome, what show? And they said, well, it's a show called All My Children. Then there were tears for a different reason. And then they said, well, we have another piece of good news. And I said, well, what is that? And they said, they want you to be on the show. Then more tears for the original reason. And I said, well, what's the deal? They said, we really don't have all the details, but here's the date. We're going to fly out. It's going to be awesome. So fast forward, I fly out to LA. And I felt like such a big boy. I felt like a grown man for the first time maybe in my life, because I went by myself, got rented the car, drove over to the studio after about 3 hours of getting lost, but found the studio, drove up, and the guy, I felt so cool because when I get there, they were expecting me because I was running a little late. So I pulled in, and the guy is like, well, you must be Mr. Barnes. And I said, well, you must be Mr. Bernard. Is it a Barnyard? Is it a Neon? Oh, it's no tell. Okay. It was LA, I didn't know. And so, although I do think that name, if you could add that to the end, just any name like that. Is it Bernard? It's actually a Barnyard. Is it Barnes? No, it's Barnes. Just hold it. A little closer. So I pull in, walk in the studio, there's a guy waiting for me, we walk to the dressing room, and he says, do you feel like you have everything you need? And I said, I think so. And he said, one more thing, have you memorized your lines? And I said, I don't know what that means. And he said, and then he put together that I really didn't for my face, and that's cool. And then and he said, well, you're going to be talking on the show. And I said, well, I wasn't told that. I was told that I was going to be singing. Is that what you mean, that it's a talking in a fast way with a melody? And he said, no, you're going to be talking other than your song. And I got so excited and nervous all at the same time, and immediately started sweating, like an immediate sweat. It wasn't like a, it was, there it is. And so he said, well, here's the lines. He gave them to me, and I said, well, this is awesome. So before he left, kind of grabbed his arm and said, you forgot to tell me, who am I playing? And he said, well, you're playing yourself. And I said, well, who am I? And that's when he just left. He just so I get ready, I put on my little outfit or whatever, and I walk out. And what I realized as I get to the set is this is a wedding. It's a wedding scene, and so they kind of told me I was going to be singing at this wedding. And so the director walks over and he's like, Nate, we're so glad you're here. And he said, do you feel like you kind of know what's going on? And I said, not really. And he laughed, and then I didn't. And he said, oh, you're being serious. So he kind of walks over and said, here's what's going to happen. He walked me through it like this. He said, here's what's going to happen, Dave. You're going to be out in the crowd milling about. And I immediately stopped him. And I said, does that mean that I'll be making grain? Because if I'm playing a Quaker, that's not me. Now I could be Quaker Dave, but I need to get that. Which oddly enough was my 8th grade rap name. It's a long story. But And he said, no, you're just going to be talking to people. And I said, okay, well, absolutely. So I was really confused. And so he said, this is going to happen. You're out talking to people. I said, right. He said, then the couple that's just renewed their vows walks down the steps. She stops, sees you. You turn around, look at her. She goes, oh my gosh, grabs her husband. He says, what's up? She says, that guy looks just like Dave Barnes. And he says, well, that's because it is. Then he tells the crowd, I've had him come in as a surprise. My wife is a big fan. Now, let me pause it to tell you this. She's not in real life. I made that mistake. Not a real fan. Didn't know who I was. I was like, thanks for having me on the show. It's so cool you know my music. Can I get you some water? Yes. Touche. So, didn't know who I was. And so they walk down, they said that, and that's my cue. What I do is I walk over and I acknowledge them, is what he told me. You acknowledge them and you walk up the steps. And so I was like, I don't really know what that means, but I can do that, I'm sure. It's a curtsy or a bow. So then I walk up the steps, the guy gives me my guitar, and then I play this song. Quickly, I say my line, then I play the song. So he's like, you feel good? I was like, sure, let's do it. So we start the scene. Sure enough, I see them, she walks down, I look at her, they say the thing, I walk over and I acknowledge them because I was so nervous by doing this. Director, I was like, cut! You don't want to shoot him? Why are you shooting him? I don't want to shoot him. You don't want to shoot him. Don't shoot him, nigga. That's close to John Lane.